No, I think it's very reassuring to see that the daylight in the galleries is what we imagine it to be, and the general atmosphere, because that's something quite difficult to get right sometimes, is the appropriateness of an atmosphere. I think it seems sort of polished enough in some ways and naked enough in others. I think it's a nice, it's the tone of the building, especially interior, seems right. It seems like a good art spaces, and it was interesting to see the public sort of enjoy the building. I mean, it seemed to people seem to get it, the atmosphere, both the sort of art spaces and the more public spaces. So that was reassuring. I mean, I think the relationship to the sea is absolutely clear and very successful. We didn't have to inherit the project. We had to inherit the atmosphere that came after the project, and the anxieties and the nervousness that the local politicians and the people, carried as a sort of wound, which didn't make the project any easier. So there was no trust in the professional status of the architect, which we had to rebuild at the same time as doing the project. In a way, the previous scheme was quite clever because it just sort of said, right, it's not part of the town, therefore put it in the sea. It's like a boat. We've ended up putting it in the land between the town and the sea, which is a much more difficult and more ambiguous territory. The building has to stand up to the weather, therefore it's got to, repel water and salt. Therefore, and it's got to be stable, and therefore this glass idea, I think, is not a bad idea. And I think the light, it takes the light very well. So it's meant to be like a sort of boarding on the one hand, like some sort of weather boarding that you might see on a building next to the sea. On the other hand, it's not wood, it's glass and reflects light and takes the changing qualities of the light. So I think the idea of the building sort of looks out, the shape looks towards the sea, which I think is quite interesting. I think if you build a museum, you've got to build it because you want a museum, not because you want to regenerate a town. And the first responsibility of a gallery or museum like this is to get buy-in from the community, and I think Turner Contemporary has a good track record of outreach, and Victoria and her team is obviously going to persist in that. That relationship, they'll build on that. I think if that all works, then everybody that comes on the train is a bonus, and everybody that comes from abroad is even more of a bonus, and then all the money that they might bring is a bonus. But the first thing is to be part of the community.